This message is brought to you by Apple Card, Shave Ice by the beach, a trip to the state fair, and a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
This podcast is part of E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience.
David Housel described it best. We are living the whole of the Auburn experience. You can quantify it, you can qualify it through a variety of methods, time, people, places, and things. But at its heart and at its core, the Auburn experience is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family. The easy way to say it, though, is if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing this late evening for another edition of the Auburn Experience. As always, I am your host, Kyle Loomis, who's here as the sunshine pumping one for you to love to hate on sometimes, but the other guy who's just trying to travel in from places far off and get here to be with all you lovely people because he loves doing this show so much. He has no better things with his life to do. Mr. Austin Scott, welcome, sir.
Zero better things. That is the truth. War Eagle to you, War Eagle to our viewers and listeners. Hope everyone's doing fine on this Sunday evening. It is classes don't start this week, but it certainly feels like it's coming because they're all coming back.
The graduation was this week, right? For summer?
Yes. Yep. Graduation was this weekend, or summer commencement. And it is. We got some more things that prove that it is coming, but it is in full swing here soon.
It is. So you've got obviously commencement ceremonies all this past weekend. Move-in week is this week, I'm assuming, Austin, for the most part.
I think for the vast majority of folks, yeah, there's been a lot of rush move in, a lot of band preseason practice move in. But yeah, I think for the vast majority of folks, it is probably move-in week on campus.
Okay. Well, see, I know I've talked about this 1,000 times, having been over there recently to help my mom and all that stuff. I'm starting to get a little bit more acquainted with the flow in and out since I've been gone as a student. And we even overheard some people. And I was like, there used to be this week gap in between, at least a week gap in between the commencement of summer and the move-in weeks. And you always had the rush, and you always had other things like people come in early for band camp. But there was at least some separation from the summer semesters and the fall semesters. It doesn't seem like that's the case, at least this year and much lately. I don't know if you feel the same way as a resident, but
yeah, I think that it is. I remember moving in and not having any really idea or concept of what rush was and how it intersects with the rest of the school semester starting. And so I remember being woken up by bid day 3 days into my dorm, living in my dorm. So I remember being overlapping with that. But I think if all pans out and rush is this week, I think bid day is next Saturday. So it is officially about to get loud in all sorts of ways around here pretty soon.
Speaking of getting loud, and speaking of things beginning, you, sir, are ready to roll here this evening to talk about something that is I don't know if it's, I personally think it's the kickoff of the athletic academic calendar year, the whole beginnings of the fall semester for Auburn stuff. But maybe others disagree if you're involved in rush and things like that. But you, sir, got to go to the amphitheater show. Tell me about it. What was it like this year? Is it just the best way to kick off your year?
Yeah, first time. So first time being able to attend. I feel like in the past we've always missed it, but after last year, we made it a point. After realizing, we missed it again, we made it a point. We are going next year. And then as the season went on last year, and our boys became more and more obsessed with watching the Auburn University Marching Band, we were determined to make it happen this year. If I could put one note out there, maybe this is just because they have enough people that attend as they need, but not very well advertised. And maybe it's just because it's best kept secret. If you really want to go check it out, you got to make sure you know when to be looking. But that was us. We were on the hunt for When the Auburn Bands Amphitheater Show. If you're not familiar with it, it is the culmination of the first week of preseason band camp, and it is the first time all the different members, and I'm butchering band terminology here, but all the different instrument groups come together and practice the songs for the first time. All the songs you hear them play throughout a game day and in stadium. And it is in the amphitheater that is rarely used, I think. I'm not really sure what else happens there throughout the year. But the amphitheater below Goodwin Hall, below Telfair Pete Theater, and they pack it in, they fill it up, and you are welcome to sit in front of them, behind them. We sat behind them because we had little ears, because it is loud. And you hear everything, every song they have been practicing. And it gets your little Auburn heart rolling. And our little two band obsessed terrors had a blast.
I don't know about terrors. I'm sure though that they had a blast with that one. So listen, I think it is one of those things that's, I have no facts to back this up, but kind of like you said, just doing some deductive reasoning here. I think it's probably one of those things they don't want super advertised. Like they do put a post out about it and say, hey, join us for this. But it's like, the day before or the couple of days before. It's one of those things that probably if it becomes too much of a thing, it's harder to manage. And it's meant to be kind of a thing probably mainly for the band members, families, and close friends and stuff. But they don't want to keep people away because you hear the fight song ringing out over there. This is a cue for Kyle if he makes a clip of this to insert it right now because Austin provided us this job. So Kyle, right now. But I listened when I was there, or if I made it in town for this, it's a must do. So just be aware if you are ever in town right before the academic year begins, you need to be thinking about this Friday evening. Is the band going to be here? If you hear them off in the distance, run. Get to the amphitheater and listen to it because it's a fun little kickoff.
Fun little kickoff. It's a must see. It was about 30 minutes, and they went through every song you could think of that you're going to hear this year from their seats in the stadium. There's still plenty of halftime shows to be rehearsed, I'm sure. Yeah. But yeah, man, it was good. They sounded great. They looked great. Lots of, you could tell. Me and my dad were talking about it in the middle of it because the band is not just about playing your instrument at the correct time in the correct way. There is choreography and dance moves needed for certain areas of certain songs. But you could tell who was a veteran and this was their first week. There's some confidence to be earned and confidence to be gained in the dance move department. But they'll be locked and loaded and ready here in just under a month.
It's good stuff, man. It's a great way to kick off every single year here. Listen, I have something for us this evening, Austin, and I'll be honest with you. I don't know how this is going to go. We did a little bit of a test run just to confirm that maybe this will actually broadcast through the stream. So it's going to be real awkward when we try this and the audio format doesn't pick it up. But hey, listen, this is part of the reason we encourage you all not just to be a audio subscriber or a follower for our podcast, but to come watch the sausage be made on Sunday nights here live on YouTube. So we have an incredible group called the Conquer Club, and they are very active in what we provide for them through supporting us. It's $1 to get into the Conquer Club through patreon.com/E2C Network. They have a Discord that you can come in and hang out with us. That's a little, I see in our chat tonight, they're already throwing some shade at one of our guys who continues to ask for a student discount for a $1 entry fee to the Discord. But they've created their own little nice community within our audience out there. And we got a lot of creativity. Let me just tell you that in the in the Discord. And I'll give credit to WT. He did decide to whip something together. I have screened it one time. I didn't hear anything readily inappropriate with this, Austin. It's for Auburn Family Night. And
this could be the last episode we ever do.
This could be. So if you see anything bad, Austin, like tell me to turn it down or wave me off, anything like that.
Cut it.
You are saying right now we are going to watch, or we are going to listen, and you're going to watch us react. If you're on the video portion, you can just kind of imagine what we're doing on the audio portion to a intro song, I guess, that we might start using for Auburn Family Night on Wednesday night. So Austin, Are you prepared for this?
I'm as prepared as I ever will be.
I'm so nervous right now. WT, please don't do me wrong. Here we go.
Okay. Oh my.
The grunting from you in the background is awesome.
Yeah. I'm revving myself up. Yeah.
Just wait till it gets better. Oh, it gets better.
Oh dear.
He said crank it up.
Oh boy.
And about 40 more seconds of this.
Oh wow. Oh. Well,
So
that's
there
going
you
to be
have
stuck
it,
in my head
folks.
for a long time.
WT, I didn't hear anything inappropriate in there. I mean, there was a War Dustbuster reference in there. Lots of shout outs to our individuals in the Conquer Club. And I don't know if you caught the whole Uber reference in there. Do you know all that?
No, I missed that. I mean, I remember that, but I missed it. I missed that in the song, but I do remember the reference. Yes.
So listen, hey, I'll do another listen of it. Hopefully you didn't miss anything in there. That shouldn't be heard, but listen, it sounded good to me, and
pretty good. I don't think.
comical.
I think I will read every WT comment we ever get now in that voice. Like that's what I will know him as, is that loud, screaming, deep WrestleMania voice.
Well, you never know. This is an incentive for you to join the Discord because in the
You never know.
Club, because you never know what you're going to get in there and what we may even just share here. It's just a taste of it, but also, this is an incentive for you to join us on Auburn Family Night, Wednesday nights, 9 Eastern Time, 8 Central for live call-in show, because you might get to hear that. And you never know, in a different iteration, if we start utilizing this, you might get featured by WT in an intro song.
We come here for more.
We come here for more.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card, Shave Ice by the beach, a trip to the state fair, and a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you were the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate. By automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
All right, well, that's going to get us started here, folks. So this evening, instead of two major topics to go along with Auburn Potpourri, we are doing extended Auburn Potpourri, which means it is going to go for a long time here. We do have a cutoff point where we are going to tackle at least one focused major topic, which is continuing our preview of Auburn football's 2026 season, 2026 season, and do the defense. We will get there, but for now, it's Auburn Potpourri, mega Potpourri time. And I'm sorry to start us on such a sour note, Austin, because of all the things in the world that we can get grumpy about as an Auburn fan base and just lament about. I mean, handrails, suites, too many suites, not for the common folks. There's not enough seats for that. all those things we can bring up, but nobody until you brought it up to me is raising the banner, leading the march for protecting a gem of the Auburn University campus. And that is Funchess Hall is going down. How did I miss this, Austin? Like, was this week announced and it just flew past me? Because you're the one that brought it to my attention.
I honestly, I have no idea. I saw it this week as the farewell to Funchess event is what they are putting on to kind of have a last hurrah in Funchess Hall. I had no idea that it is set to be demolished this summer, later this year. And so I remember I put it in our we have a little working document we work from each week for our show, and I didn't even feel like I could text it to you. I just put it in there.
Just didn't even tell me. Just said,
just dropped it in there. Yeah, I couldn't be the bearer of bad news, and so it looks like we're gonna have a Funchess Hall farewell. I guess that's it can't be torn down this summer, so that's late info, but because they're having a farewell on September 25th, which is Friday before the Vanderbilt game, I think. So,
which will be homecoming.
There you go. So if you also have an affinity to Funchess Hall, you can join Kyle. Now they're doing it pretty good here. From who I see that they're inviting. But yeah, man, another Auburn building icon taken down.
Let me just give you, I know this doesn't appeal to every audience member out there unless you connect with Funchess Hall. So it is like one of the oldest, not the oldest, but one of the oldest buildings left on campus. And it has a lot of strong connections to not only the agriculture department, but for the biological sciences. Like some of my best classes that I took, when I say best, not that I did well in them, some I did. But just, most rewarding classes, things that I knew, like, okay, this is why I'm here, taking this course of study, all that stuff was in Funchess Hall. So I have a lot of great memories there. The different animals that are mounted in the stairwell there, the smell when you enter, and I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad smell, but if you were to go to the bottom floor, there's a
distinct
reason we jokingly call it Fungus Hall. The fungi department might be down there. I don't know if they are anymore. Literally and figuratively, right? And then this is going to be the weirdest thing we'll talk about, like triggering something in your memory, Austin. It's the sound the door makes when you enter into the lobby. Like that is forever etched in my memory. So this is a sad day for me personally. Maybe many of you out there that have enjoyed the confines of Funchess Hall. Again, September 25th, they're going to be doing a final tour during homecoming weekend, and so we're going. Unless something happens and I can't be there, just know right now E2C Network will be there to cover it, because I am so sad that this is going away. And according to this post, there's a really cool tie here. Word is that Jeff Price of the original barbecue house, which used to be right across the street.
So many of you probably don't know about barbecue house.
But listen, you don't know about going to barbecue house and then going to class at Funchess. He apparently is coming out of retirement to cook. That's what it says. It's not. I don't know if that's confirmed, but
I mean, it certainly looks like it. But it's pretty good. And I see this keepsake farewell to Funchess T-shirt. I expect you to collect one.
Definitely will.
And wear it on our show frequently.
Definitely will.
And as well take a picture with the moose head. So if you don't get a picture of Hannah with the moose head, I'll be severely disappointed. I need a picture of Hannah with the moose head. That is a must. I don't require much homework out of you. I'm requiring that. And I've done the math here for you, Kyle. The homecoming parade's at 6:00. You got plenty of time here.
Oh, that is a tight though.
It's 3 to 5, so I'm sure it's drop in. Go get you your barbecue sandwich. Take your picture with Hannah. Get the T-shirt. You're already on College Street. Just take a walk.
Run.
Push the stroller. No, you'll be fine. You don't have to stay the whole 2 hours. Just push your stroller. Let's get a move on. Get down to homecoming parade. You can make all this. You're good.
Well, listen, I'm getting older, and Hannah can.
You're fine.
Am I fine? Are you fine?
You're fine. You'll be all right.
We'll see. But I will make an appearance at this Funchess Hall. I knew it was coming, but I didn't think it was going to be happening this soon. Going to miss you, Funchess Hall.
What's next after Funchess? I know we got more to get to, but
Haley. No, I'm just saying. I'm just
Well,
going to throw it. No, I'm just throwing it out there. That's the next domino to fall.
There's one I'd be lining up to push the button for first, more over Haley.
That's probably fair.
It's Parker Hall. Go ahead and rip it out.
Well, let's move on from things that are being torn down soon or in the future to things that are being built up. We're not going into another Jordan-Hare North segment yet. There's another one of those coming soon. But what happens a lot during the off season is some enhancements that can happen, on a more summer time of timeline to work through. We've always going to preach the greatness of following Rhett Hobart and his team that's in charge of the fan experience and so much more. He's got a new title now that I can probably learn and give out more for him anyway. But if you follow him, he's a great follow on X just for these type of things. He has shared today some of the things that they've been doing to get Jordan-Hare Stadium ready for this upcoming season, such as a complete deep clean of the exterior of Jordan-Hare, which frankly is much needed, because if you used to stare long enough at some of those things, you're like, oh, that's a lot of a certain color up there,
It is.
That kind of expanding of the fast flight grab and go experiences. So obviously that's working. It's something that has definitely promised to expand that.
It's fantastic.
And coordinating great with us of the footage that I shared this week of the expanded student concourse that you can see. A great viewing spot right now is up in the parking deck, just in that, I guess, I don't know what directional that would be, north, west, it doesn't matter. Go up there to see the student section area and you can see this concourse being expanded. And he shared a little bit of update photo on that as well. Again, as we stressed with that, it's not like a major thing such as the last concourse expansion last year, but it is going to assist the students mainly. And that is, trust me, if you've been back there as a student, that's very helpful. So it looks good. I mean, even besides the big things that are happening with Jordan-Hare Austin, this is very much needed some TLC for this season.
That's what I was going to say. Some TLC and some last minute touch ups and tune ups. I've long said, and Emily can attest to this, that we just need to get some pressure washers out there and just do a little clean loving on the sides, and that does it. I'd still like to see a little more brick, and that's coming with Jordan-Hare North, but maybe we'll get a little bit more of that after it goes in. But I love all this. The fast flight is a excellent enhancement. It has been since this crew brought it in a couple of years ago. So to see that added more, and I hear people talk about that like from an opposing fan's situation, especially after the Argentina game. Like people think that's just generational. And I'm not saying it's not. I just think that it is absolutely one of the best things that could have happened for people who just want their popcorn and their hot dog. We're not looking for all the extra bougie stuff. We're just looking for a quick little run through. So these are all good tune-ups, and it's one of those small little signs. We're getting closer.
Just another little sign. We're almost to the season, and it's going to be looking pretty. Even with, pardon our dust on the north end zone, it's going on over there.
A little bit.
But there's a lot of good things coming as we've been slowly trying to walk you through on the Jordan-Hare North expansion series. Make sure you check it out if you haven't already, but lots more to come on that. I'm going to move us forward just a little bit in case we need to come back to something else. By the way, this is another behind the curtain, the list that we're working from tonight, y'all.
It's rough, brother.
It's going to be tough. All right. We're going to talk about basketball in the summer. Because why not? That's why I broke out the basketball shirt today.
There you go.
Because we got to do this. The Auburn men's basketball team played in Greece this past week. And in fact, they've been close to a week now, I think at this point, been taking a little bit of an international trip, as men's basketball programs have tended to do over the last several years, namely Auburn as well. They've been to Europe before, I believe, and Israel. This time going to Greece and playing a familiar name in a team over there that very interesting names, might I add. KK Mega Super Bet. Is that what it was? I have to pull KK.
I would not. You could have told me that name and I would have told you, oh, they played a fraternity intramural basketball team. KK Mega Super Bet. That's exactly what that sounds like.
So that is who they went over there to play. I believe that is where a former Auburn Tiger came from. And
current UCLA Bruin.
Philip Jovic. Shout out to him over there. So, yeah, really, I will be honest, Austin, and we'll get to what people really want to know about what happened to that. This trip kind of took me a little bit by surprise because it wasn't as super publicized in terms of like, here's when we're going until it was actually happening and stuff like that. And there's probably reasons for that. And we understand all that. We know we don't have to know everything about that. And it was kind of done and over with very quickly. Like I felt when they went to Israel, there was a little bit more of a build up to it and maybe a little bit extra on top of it. But listen, anytime you can go overseas, get these guys an experience, playing some of the professionals over there is a great thing. And involves team bonding. I will point out, not to say that this is a sign for the season because it's still far away, that great things happened after some of these trips before. Just you do what you want with that. But your final results, 2 games versus this mega super bet team. And they win the first one 92 to 71. And the second one they did lose, but let's put the context there. The starters, or the supposed starters, at least for right now, did not play a ton. So let's kind of break it down. Your thoughts, what you talked about it, what you want to talk about from Auburn playing in Greece, Austin. What stuck out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Auburn men's basketball on social media put out a lot of highlights, which is always fun to watch. But I think that we have it listed here. The first starting lineup that we get to see is kind of an interesting one. You've got Tahad Pettiford, Kevin Overton, Caleb Williams, the freshman, Thomas Dowd, the transfer from Troy, and Bucky Aboye, the transfer from Santa Clara.
Santa Clara, you got it. Look, you knew what you were talking about. Just go right into it. You know
just
what you're doing.
Needed it just a second. And so that's kind of an interesting one. There's some questions out there about some eligibility of some guys. And so I think that probably factors in here. But also kind of interesting to see how these guys kind of play together, fit. You're always looking for those specific lineups that work together at any given time of who's on the field. So I was very interested on the court. I was interested to see Caleb Williams on there. I feel like he's a guy that's just not been talked about a lot as a freshman coming in, and a lot of other bigger names kind of maybe on the team that have a little more backing. And so to get to see the stats of these teams or these games and kind of see what that the offense looks like it's producing from behind the 3-point line. The blocks seem to be a heavy focus so far, from Bucky Aboye especially. And I don't know what I was expecting to see from this team against a pro-ish team. But you wanted to see them be competitive and be. I think the thing I wanted to see the most of all is Kevin Overton and Tahad Pettiford ensure that they're still the leaders of this team. Obviously, 2 guys who were very important last year on a team that went and won the NIT, and they showed a lot of leadership in that by continuing to hold that team accountable to go do that. And you see big numbers and them starting and big highlights from them all throughout the last couple of days of games. So, I don't think you can take a lot from this on like, oh, what's this team going to do this year, or what's this team going to be this year? I mean, heck, 2 of the guys couldn't even play. But I think that anytime you have these guys in an international setting, especially, but on a trip, you develop cohesion, and then you actually get to see if that cohesion sticks together on the court too. That's helpful. So that's a long roundabout answer that seems like everything was good and well, though.
Well, with Montas and Narcisse and Goy, do you think there's anything to be concerned about there? I saw a lot of talk about that on social media, and to me, I guess I just assumed that with international players, there's always this long delay with the process. I know there was maybe some different guidance that came out, but what do you think about all that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that it's okay to be concerned. I don't think it's anything to, and I know this is not the Auburn way on Auburn Twitter, but I don't think it's anything to get your underwear all torn up about. But I think that, with the way eligibility works in college athletics nowadays,
very fluid,
especially with the international flavor, it's very fluid and just an ups or down. If I'm being honest, when I saw it, I thought that would have been handled by now. And that could be the assumption of the coaches as well too. And I think that everybody's kind of operating under it's touch and go at the moment. we got a long way until the season, and so I'm sure they're doing what they need to make sure that all that eligibility will work out in the end. And hey, look, if it doesn't, you just got to find the right judge, right?
I guess that's one way you could go about with it. So I think that's really, you just do the quick takeaways for this trip to Greece. Narcisse and Montas, they did not participate. So there's an element of that with the starting lineups. You
big
walk
element.
through right, really. And then you walk through the starting lineups that were listed. That I would also insert in the second game. Caleb did not start, and they gave Adam Olsen a chance to start there. Again,
I did not know that. Thank you.
if I remember seeing that correctly. And then Tahad did tweak his knee during the game, apparently. The reports are it's fine. So not to stir more worry amongst the Auburn faithful, but just throwing out there. And I just want to give a shout out to my boy Kevin Overton, because my boy said, listen, we are not going to lose any steam from how I finished the season, and I'm going to continue on into Greece. I mean, he was literally, dad joke coming, Grease lightning.
Oh, boy.
There he is. Yes, I just had to drop
When did you think of that?
There may not have been a post already with that music in the background. I don't know. That's one of the benefits of following us everywhere. So you might want to go check that out. But listen, it is just an international trip. It's important for the progression of this team coming together, but that's all it is. So don't overreact. Don't build narratives that you don't necessarily need to buy into until the season arrives. It's just nice to see the guys back together playing, and the new guys playing for the very first time.
Did you like the video of them smashing plates?
Oh, yes. And I meant there's a screenshot of Steven holding 2 plates up that with it making this face that I meant to share today. I was going to just share. I was like, this is going to be like my new favorite thing to share after an Auburn victory.
We don't have time, but if you have not seen it, you need to go see the Auburn men's basketball team and head coach Stephen Pearl joining in the Greek tradition of dancing and smashing plates, because
it was so good.
Basketball players doing exactly what you would think basketball players are doing. They're throwing oops. They're doing. I mean, it hysterical. Literally hysterical.
Was so good. Like, I was not expecting. I don't know why I doubt this, because the creative team for Auburn basketball is always on their top game. So I'm sure it came from them. What are we doing? We're doing alley oops while smashing plates. Yes. Let's do this right. It was gold. Absolute gold. All right. Well, there's your update for Auburn at Greece, playing in Greece, and basketball season will be around here soon.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach, a trip to the state fair, and a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in-minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you are the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
A season that is technically not officially started yet. However, the preseason has happened. And what I mean by preseason, I do mean exhibition games. Auburn Soccer. It's officially every year the first program to get going. At least with exhibition games, and usually with their actual competition, which starts this week. They were not able to participate at Georgia with some weather that has continuously rolled in the southeast.
Bummer.
Kyle will try his best not to rant about what's been happening to him the last 2 days with things he's been trying to do outside. But I digress. They did, however, get to play at the HAPA, as it should be forever known, against Georgia Southern, and won 3-0 in their final and only, frankly, exhibition game. So while exhibitions really don't mean a whole lot, they are your first opportunity to get out there together as a precursor to starting your non-conference play. Second year for Coach Armstrong, and I'm excited to see what they can put together. So here we are, Austin. Soccer season's here.
Here we are. It's here. And like you said, they get the first taste of victory. Yesterday against Georgia Southern, the first taste of victory at home. And so that's always fun before they kick it off, quite literally, here this Wednesday against
There's
Clemson.
Your dad joke for the show.
Thank you very much. Before they kick it off against Clemson, who's surprised on Wednesday. And so it'll be a lot of fun. Good taste of victory for the first season, the second season of the James Armstrong era. So looking forward to it and really hoping that this team can get off to a good start this year. Hope a lot of people can get out there and support them. If weather's good, we might have to make our way out there too. That's a very small side note. Brooks had his first true physical up-touch interaction with Aubie this week. And the soccer has been a place where we've been nervous before. This was at an Auburn public safety event. He said, I want to go take a picture with Aubie. I want to high five Aubie. He did both of those things. His brother, I won't say where he was, but it was behind a fence somewhere. But soccer's a great place to do that. So if you're looking for a family-friendly, fun night and possibly seeing Bobby as well, then you can head out to the Hoppa this Wednesday.
The Hoppa. So listen, hey, I know everybody out there is the biggest Auburn soccer fans, but this is year 2. We've already talked about some exciting potential things that may be coming for facilities in the future if they're approved. It's a good time to jump in and get involved with year 2. Coach Armstrong, season 2026 is underway this week. I'll move us forward a little bit, Austin, here just to cover some things that I know that people are going to want us to talk about. Especially we're going to jump down to recruiting, and it's been a little bit of a break for us, Austin, because pretty much every week during the summer we were talking about a commit or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, 9 or 10. Thankfully, we had given us a little bit of time to digest all that, but they said, you know what, we are going to go and start the 2028 class. And who do they do that with? Mr. Sam Solly, I think is how you would pronounce that. Would you? Solely or Solly? How would you pronounce that?
I debated both, and I should have looked it up if I really did my homework, but I would go with Solly. I think you did a good job.
Quarterback 2028, Sam Solly has been added to, and when I say added, he's the only one in the 2028 class. Now, certainly your focus right now when this commitment happened is on the 2027 class. Time in recruiting, can change so many things. But the way I would look at this right now is where he's coming from, what this could mean for the depth chart if he were to stick with it and things like that. Coming from Gadsden City High School, the greater, not even Birmingham, but that area, the central northern part of Alabama, great spot that you want to draw in from if you're an Auburn person, grabbing those in-state players. And then if you look at quarterbacks, Byron will be done after this year. If Tristan Tia sticks around, and he could be one of the heirs apparent along with some of the others, there's a spot opened up for someone down the line. Mr. Sam Solly could be that, and I know there's still another season to go after that. I'm not trying to downplay the hype, Austin, but I just want to put everything in perspective. But it is nice to see someone added in the 2020 class.
It is nice to see. And, quarterback's not one of those positions you want to not recruit, especially based on just the fluidity that is the transfer portal these days. And maybe that's coming to a close, but for now, you got to make sure you have your ducks in a row this year, next year, and more down the way. So good to see Sam Solly. If you did not see his commitment video, he's an Auburn boy through and through. He absolutely loves the orange and blue. Lots of fun pictures, lots of cute pictures of him and his siblings wearing orange and blue. If I had to correct him, I am going to nitpick here, Mr. Sam Solly, and I believe you. It is pronounced Jordan. I just want to make sure we say that it is pronounced Jordan.
Can we forgive him for that?
We can forgive him. He's just a young buck, and I'm sure that he knows it. And he was just up in the heat of the moment on his commitment video, but he will be playing his football in Jordan-Hare Stadium. I just want to make sure we clear the air on that.
Just make sure we handle all this business.
That's it.
The University of Auburn thing always happens, but
it's just a little housekeeping thing. We're excited.
It's pronounced
for him.
Jordan.
He's one of ours. He's one of ours. He's been one of ours for a long time. Maybe we'll treat him better than we treated one of ours previously. But I just look forward to seeing him complete his dreams and be an Auburn Tiger here soon.
Well, nice to see him added to the class and starting the class. Always great to have your quarterback be that lead one in front to literally lead the team, lead the class in whatever fashion that you want to put it out there. Austin, I have bounced this around a lot of places. We got a ton of schedule news that we can talk about. Pros. Well, let's do some schedule things that we probably should talk about because they've been sitting around for a little bit. I'm going to throw us over to Auburn Equestrian. Listen, this is one of those sports that I always tell you it's hard for people to kind of rationalize because people think about fall, they think about winter, they think about spring, those segregation of sports. This is one of those that spans across all of it and takes a little bit of a break in the true winter-ish months. So for Auburn Equestrian, they released their schedule set about 2-3 weeks ago. At this point, we're just now getting around to covering it. I would encourage you to go check it out in its fullness. I won't want to bore you all and read the exact thing that's listed here. If Kyle's pulling the clip, cue Kyle. He can put up the schedule for you right now. But remember, this schedule runs from the late September area to the technically this year, late November timeline. We'll take a break and get started again in February, which will culminate in April with the NCEA championships. Remember, Auburn is perennially a great power in this. While they have not had a national championship in a couple of years, they are either winning or competing for the SEC championship every single year. You have a very strong home you're able to attend a lot of home matches throughout September and October. But Austin, what I see when I look at this schedule, they're not here at all in the month of November when Auburn football is going to be back. They'll be in Auburn in February, and that's about it. They'll be based off if I'm looking at the schedule correctly. They will be participating in equestrian meets in Auburn, basically September, October, and February. But everything else, they're going over. It's an interesting schedule this year, Austin. I find it could be a little bit challenging for some people to get out there.
It could be lots of road trips. It looks like, especially in the spring, kind of back-to-back meets with a couple in those road trips together. I do see though it gets it all kicked off here on the Western Blue and Orange scrimmage on that same homecoming weekend. So you've got an opportunity. If you're not hitting up the Farewell to Funchess, you can head over to the Auburn Equestrian Center and head over to see get the first look at the girls this year. And then I don't have the football schedule pulled up in front of me either, but that October 3rd, that's a away game actually against Tennessee, because you and I talked about that pre-show. Yep. And so you can see them against another really good power, SMU. I want to say SMU knocked them out last year, or maybe the year prior.
Previous. We finally got over that hump. Well, I was going to say horses don't have humps. That's a camel joke, not a horse joke. But you get what I was going with on that one.
Yeah.
That used to be the thing. We got that horse off our back. I was going to say monkey, but that doesn't really work here.
Yeah, the ponies.
That's my second dad joke of the night.
There you go. So there's lots of opportunity. Look, we preach this a lot of trying to make sure you maximize your Auburn weekends when you come for football. But there's a lot to do here too when you can come on a bye weekend, and maybe it just doesn't work out for you to get to a home football game this year with funds or travel or whatever. But on one of these bye weekends, one of these away weekends, there's a lot of fun to do here too with other sports on campus, other activities, and then also, hey, you get to watch the Auburn Tigers, even though from afar on the loveliest village in the Plains. So out at the Auburn Equestrian Center is a great way to do that. And it seems like if you want to get to see them, like Kyle said, September, October, or February, it's your best bet.
They're going to be playing SMU, South Carolina, Texas A&M, Fresno State at home in the fall portion of
the new one. I don't feel like I hear them.
They've been in the NCEA circuit, but not as frequent as.
It's a long way to come out here.
Yeah, it is. And UT Martin, Minnesota Crookston, Georgia is going to be that final home meet on February 20th. It's a little bit small on my screen there. February 20th.
That's right. Yep.
There you go. And that might tie. I don't know what our schedule was for the SEC basketball. That might tie in nicely with something there. But keep that in mind if you can. It is a great family environment out there as well for Auburn Equestrian, what they host out there. Great facility, incredible program. So go out and support them as much as you can this season. They deserve it. And you never know. We could be talking about a program that could be competing for a national title, because they quite frequently do most seasons, or at least in the conversation for it most seasons.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. shave ice by the beach, a trip to the state fair, and a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you were the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
Maybe as a final thing for us, Austin, the list of things that we just continue to not be able to get to, I'm going to move us down, unless you have a feeling otherwise, to Jackson Coiven. How does that feel?
No, let's do it. That's a great one to end on.
Well, and the people are also like, what else are you going to tell us, Kyle? He's done everything that you possibly can. Well, you would be wrong. Like, yeah, he won another national title. He won all these different things in college. We just got done gushing about him winning his first PGA Tour event, and one of the quickest ever to do that type of thing. Well, let's just throw a couple more things on top of that, Austin. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
I don't know if he has room in a trophy case or a thing for this now. First thing of the week for him, he was named the SEC Male Athlete of the Year. Let me give you some. This is from a tweet from Jeff Shearer, Auburn Athletics reporter. He did a great job of laying this out. The first men's golfer in the award's 51-year history. First male Auburn Tigers winner since Bo Jackson in 1986. It makes it the fifth Auburn winner of all time, those being Harvey Glantz, Rowdy Gaines, the aforementioned Bo, Kirsty Coventry, and now Jackson Coiven.
You talk about a list you want to be on.
We've got a Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
right there. And that's for the people who don't understand that Mount Rushmore is 4. That was 5.
That's
right.
You
can't do the math. But that's an incredible list, Austin, that he just launched himself onto right now. Is there anything else for this kid?
We keep saying no, but we keep being wrong because he keeps finding something else. Just what an accomplishment for that to be the first time in Auburn history for 40 years. And then they add a fifth well, I guess, okay, I see what he's saying now. That's the fifth Auburn winner of the SEC male or female athlete. Because I was like,
you got there.
But yeah, I was looking at my years. I was like, did I say that wrong? But I did not. But anyway, just really incredible and really not surprising when you think about it. Of course, over the last the entire year, you look at all the male athletes in the SEC this year, you had a lot of good competition. Mm-hmm. But I'm very glad the SEC saw what we did, and just the amount that he has put together in 1 year really just doesn't compare.
It doesn't compare. And then if that wasn't enough for this week, this is happened right now. And so I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, Austin. I hope you're a little bit more knowledgeable on it than I am. But when I say barely, I don't want to diminish what he accomplished in the PGA Tour already, but he's just made it into the FedEx Cup. And when he did that, it's like the ties Tiger Woods for the fewest starts needed to make the FedEx Cup playoffs in the PGA Tour. And that's Jackson Coiven. 5 starts to make that FedEx Cup. And Tiger Woods, that's like the third time, Austin, we've heard Jackson Coiven and Tiger Woods in the same sentence comparing.
Yeah. Which is bonkers. To make the FedEx Cup playoffs, you got to be in the top 70 of the rankings. And Jackson Coiven, after I can't remember where he finished in Wyndham today, but 21st,
tied for 29th. I thought is what I saw. But maybe it moved up again when they finished up.
No, you're right. Tied for 29th after the Wyndham this weekend, and so he holds down that number 70 spot of the 70 you got to be in, but you can't win it if you're not in it. And so he gets in it, and like you said, only took him 5 starts in his pro career to qualify. Only other person who knew that is a guy named Tiger Woods. So some good lists Jackson Coivin has found himself on here this week.
It's just it's not mundane, but it kind of is, because Jackson Coivin just continues to find things that he can put his name on and move right next to Tiger Woods. That's really the gist of what we're talking about in our Jackson Coivin segment this week. One final thing before we go to our main topic, or only main topic we have time for this evening. I just want to give a quick shout out to Tiger Rags. You and I talked about this. We needed it. I should have put this at the start of the show. If you've been following kind of the chronicling the trajectory of Tiger Rags, where it kind of went away, came back, kind of had to refocus some things like that. It's been downtown, a different store. They have a new downtown location, which I believe, if my date's correct, August 15th is their big sale. At least they're happening, but maybe the first official date.
I think it is grand opening day. I think if you could find your way down there during the hours, daytime hours leading up to that day. But I think that is going to be the official grand opening, big kickoff, hurrah day. Tiger Rags is back in downtown Auburn. That just feels very right to say. Nice little spot next to where the old bike shop used to be, if you're familiar with that area,
and
not too far from the BCM. I was getting there, but Tiger Rags is back in downtown Auburn, and looks like the guys that are now in control of it and running it have a big vision for it. So really excited to see what they're doing. They have, if you follow their Instagram, they give you some sneak peeks every now and then. And they have posted about a Baylor shirt. So I'm really hopeful, Kyle, that it is a shirt for every game, no matter where it is. I want my boys to grow up in a world where they can find a Tiger Rag shirt for any game and any opponent. And that'd be a lot of fun.
And let me just say this, and we just do this because we love Tiger Rags. This is one of those things in Auburn history that we want the next generation to understand. So they need your help. They need you to support them. So go downtown, shop with them. They've got a 50% off sale at the whole store on that August 15th at 12 p.m. date that I was trying to get around. I think I mixed the date up there a little bit, but that's the date for that one. There's a golden game day card thing that they're sharing on their social media. So just a little quick plug for them, because we love Tiger Rags. We love its history, and we want you guys to continue with it and help the next generation know about Tiger Rags as well, because it is part of our great Auburn history. With that in mind, with our time left, we're going to be on the ball tonight, Austin. Our only main topic this evening that we have time for. We'll continue with our preview of the 2026 season for Auburn football by going through the different units. We did offense last week, walk through all of those different position groups. Today, we are going to continue with that. Now, the difficult thing here, Austin, is because they have so much variance with like specialty positions at defensive line with edge, and you've got like, I think they used to call it star position in the defensive back, or nickel back now. It changes so much. So that's going to be a little bit, let's be honest, difficult with how to break that down. But I think we can just start with defensive line, edge. Or would you like to break them up? How would you like to go about doing that, sir, as we workshop?
No, I think that's fine. I think that's good. I think defensive line, edge, getting them all, lumping them in there together. I think that would naturally happen anyway.
Well, let's start with this, because if you go to the Auburn roster and kind of break it down by position group, they've got for the defensive line 3 monikers: defensive end, defensive line, and edge. There's only one defensive end, Chris Wells. So that's interesting. He's the only one there. Everybody else on defensive line, you can look at the whole list. I won't run through everybody there, but I want to make you aware of a couple names that obviously you're going to be probably hearing about. Malik Autry, one of those guys, interior guy, 6'5", 320 pounds. Cody Sigler is another one that has transferred in and is one of those coming up from the non-power conferences. We've seen that happen with like Jalen McLeod, those type of names. With Keyron Crawford, this feels very similar to that story, maybe at a different defensive line position, but there's that too. Some exciting new names: Tavion Branch, freshman. Dallas Walker returns. He was kind of a surprise returner for this year. Chris Murray, and Corey Wells, Darian Smith, Walter Mathis Jr. So many other names that I'm not mentioning there. Those guys that I mentioned, Austin, who sticks out to you the most? Who are you most excited to watch in that interior or defensive end group?
Yeah, well, like you said, I think Cody Sigler is going to be a big one. That definitely, he seems like the next heir apparent of that kind of group of 5 transfer that heads to the SEC and makes his mark coming from Arkansas State, like Kieron Crawford. Maybe he is the next Arkansas State to Auburn transfer product that has such a great career. He seems like the hype is real around him. I think Deshaun Womack from Ole Miss is one that you could definitely see.
How did I
Also,
miss Deshaun Womack?
it's okay. It's okay. You just left
You probably
him for
were
me, and I
looking at me in
appreciate
the
that.
background, and you just said, "Why is he skipping over that one?" So I'm going to shut up from here on. Go ahead.
Deshaun Womack, I think, is one you love the SEC experience. We always are very high on that here on this show, and I think that he has that and has had plenty of success in that role. Would love to get to see him blossom in that more. And then you mentioned Dallas Walker, also throwing Chris Murray as guys who Auburn wasn't sure they'd get back, not due to transfer, not due to any other NFL or anything like that, but just eligibility reasons. We've already talked about in the show. That can be a fluid situation. And for Auburn, that worked out to get those guys back for another year. Experience in this defensive scheme, experience at Auburn, all that really helps. So very happy to see them back for another year. And then Jared Smith. I think he's a guy that just has a chance to have a breakout year. He's a guy that a lot of people liked last year, but I think he's put on a lot of weight. He certainly looks big in these videos they keep posting. And so I look forward to seeing a lot of these guys hopefully get to the backfield because Auburn will need them to for this DJ Durkin defense to continue to wreak havoc.
Yeah, and you were talking about a few of those names that were more specifically listed as edges, Deshaun Womack with Jared Smith too. Those are some of the big names there. But let me just say this, Austin. When I was reading through the edge list of guys, all these stick out to me. And maybe that's because of some fan favorite type of thing with JJ Falk with his brother having been here, stuff like that. But you got Deshaun, you got Nate Johnson with SEC experience coming out of Missouri. You've got Jaquez Wilkes as a young talent that a lot of people are high on of that last class. Joe Phillips, who's been around for a little bit, and we've seen some good things from him too. The young guys as well, like Jared Smith, who've been here, and a lot of sophomores and seniors up and down this edge position too. So whether you're looking at defensive line or a defensive end or just an edge rusher type of situation, a lot of guys that you should be paying attention to, just a number, but an interest for what that defensive front's going to provide. As we always talk about offensive line, defensive line being the heart and soul of football, a game of inches. If you can't block, you can't tackle, you will not win football games. Mm-hmm. That is as simple as that. Let's move on.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach, a trip to the state fair, and a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you were the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate. By automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
Up in the defense to the linebackers.
Ooh.
It's been that's some of the instant reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
This group, Austin, and it was good last year, but we're obviously speculating a little bit. You know how I don't like to do that too early. But it just looks like all the information is there. If everybody can stay healthy, this might be one of the more impressive linebacker groups that Auburn has had in quite some time. And that's counting last year where a lot of these guys were here and young guys made names for themselves.
Yeah.
So Xavier Atkins, I mean, we need to go no further. We've been talking, he's getting all the accolades, watch list for this, watch list for that. He was the star last year and is frankly the star of your team most likely right now, at least in preseason speculation. But can I remind folks, and this is where my mind goes to first, DeMarcus Reddick. He was the star before Xavier Atkins. He was hurt and, had to take a step back from that. There's other names to talk about here, but I just want to park it there for 2 seconds. Imagine a world where DeMarcus Reddick is fully healthy, and if they do play, because I don't know how they're going to spread them out, linebackers at different responsibilities and stuff. Xavier Atkins and DeMarcus Reddick in their prime together is a lot. That right there, wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
well, and even if they're not, those are Xavier Atkins, which I'm sure plenty of teams this season are going to be looking to when he takes a step off the field and he decides to go get a water break. But then you have DeMarcus Riddick who's coming in to take a spot for a couple plays. Auburn can keep him healthy, if DeMarcus can get back to being on the field like he was his freshman year, there's a lot that stands to. There's not going to be a much drop off if Xavier Atkins has to leave the field for a little bit, and so I think that would be hugely beneficial for Auburn because, like you said, as the tail end of his freshman year, it looked like Auburn had its next linebacker ready to rock and roll. And I hate the injuries kind of took a year away from him, but it sounds like he's healthy. Sounds like he's back to feeling confident. If you've listened to some goalish pressures this week, he's been quite impressed with the DeMarcus Riddick.
And you can't go much further in talking about linebackers without mentioning the behemoth of a man that does not have a neck, I believe. Like he's a pure muscle, it looks like, and I think he's only gotten more muscular, if you want to just go that route. Elijah Melendez. You probably already knew. People were like, when I was describing, they're like, well, I know who he's talking about. Elijah Melendez, another young guy from last year he looked the part, but was he going to play the part? And he did. And so this is year 2 for him. He already had such a great start. I'll throw in this same conversation, Bryce Dees in that same vein as well. Right. Yes. Bryce Dees. You got a group of 4. You're not going to derail me, sir. Xavier Atkins, DeMarcus Reddick, Elijah Melendez, and Bryce Dees. There's still more on this group, but let me move on. That group right there is going to be pretty solid. If everybody can stay healthy, if everybody matches what they have previously done here at Auburn, that's strong group of linebackers.
It's a group of 4 that you feel really good about. And I think that we've said this before, whether it's talking about recruiting or talking about what DJ Durkin does so well. That linebacker room is his bread and butter. That's where he looks to find and it makes sense when you think about how much the linebacker position is talked about as the quarterback of the defense. He finds what he wants there to make sure everything else can work as seamlessly as it needs to. And he's got 4 pretty good options right there. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing that group healthy. Staying healthy is a big part of it, but Auburn should feel really confident about it.
And don't forget about some of the young guys, Darius Tootle,
of course,
Adam Balagoon Ali, plenty of others, Michael Matthews Canty, who's a little bit older but provides some experience, and then others as well. That's your linebacker room in just a quick preview type of situation. DBs, we'll break this one out because even though you can kind of throw them all together, cornerbacks and defense and safeties tend to be a little bit diverse in the way that they're utilized. So let's start with cornerbacks this evening and talk about that for defensive backs first. The names that people are going to want you to talk about in this group is going to be Rashawn Pleasant. One, people will remember not only that, but also what he did on special teams last year at times, which was it was very pleasant. There's my third dad joke of the show.
There you go.
Blake Woodby is going to be another one of the young guys last year that's coming into a sophomore year that is very strong. Here's what you see when you look at cornerbacks: sophomore and seniors. That's it. All experience. Nobody's a freshman here, at least the way that they're listing cornerbacks right now. Andre Jordan is probably someone as a senior that's going to be getting looked at as well. You got some other names that are young: Shamar Arnaud, Scrap Richardson, Gavin Jenkins, who came over from USF. It's probably one of the few defensive guys from USF that came over, and it'll be interesting to see if that's going to win him any, because it's DJ Durkin's defense, and you can understand why a bunch of USF would be on offense. But what do you think? Can Gavin Jenkins break the lineup there and be seeing significant cornerback time?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Certainly had a lot of success as a South Florida Bowl, and was one of the big guys that I think a lot of people were curious about if he would also follow Alex Golesh and some of his defensive coaches. But obviously DJ Durkin was here and established. You look up and down, and we're looking at a site that has based on is color coded by transfer or who's here. And there's a lot more that look like they've stayed here than there is on the offensive side, which is to be expected when DJ Durkin has announced he's staying. These guys know who they're playing for and what on their side of the ball, how established it is. But I think Gavin Jenkins has a real opportunity to jump in and prove himself too. Obviously, there's kind of a prove it mode for the offensive guys we talked about last week, but I think there's even more so here to prove he belongs in an SEC defense group that already had a lot of success last year. And for him to jump into that and say, I think I belong here as well. And so I look forward to seeing it from him. You mentioned Andre Jordan Jr. I'm really high on him. I think that he's a defensive back from UCLA or a cornerback from UCLA that a lot of people wanted, has a lot of experience. Obviously didn't have a very good year as a team at UCLA last year. But seems like he has the traits in length and width and for those NFL-ready cornerbacks that can help a lot on DJ Durkin's defense when they're tested one-on-one. So looking forward to seeing Andre Jordan Jr. And I think that this room has a chance to be deeper than a lot of people really believe it is.
I'm really intrigued by Shamar No, who was a previous commit, part of another class, chose to go somewhere else, Florida State, came back. So, Auburn's across different regimes has been very high on him. Can he break into the lineup here? Would be a good maybe storyline to watch this year. But I'm again just walking this out here based off of talk, things like that, and some body of work last year. When you look at maybe the core group of guys to start paying attention to at cornerback, Rayshawn Pleasant, Blake Woodby, maybe some Gavin Jenkins there if he can carry over what he did at USF, and Andre Jordan. You think there's anything wrong with that core four to start with right now going into the year?
No, I don't think so. I think that's probably the group that you're looking from to see is the core out there. They'll always need reps, so these other guys always need to stay ready. But I think that they have built as far as an experience of already being here, as well as guys who they went out and sought after. I think those guys match what they really need to up this pass defense.
I agree. Let's move over to safeties here to wrap up our defensive unit walkthrough and preview for 2026. And I want to reiterate here, especially I think a lot of times the nickel back, whatever you want to call that specialty position, the defensive back group often gets lumped in with safeties a lot. It's still kind of like throwing edge in with defensive line. It's not exactly, apples and oranges or apples and apples. You're doing out. You get what the point I'm trying to make here. We got to lump them in somewhere because I think Champ Anthony, frankly, is one of those guys, if he can stay healthy, that can just – the coach has already said, let's just start there. Coach has said Champ Anthony can play wherever we want him. So he could be cornerback. He can be nickelback. He can be a safety. What do you think? There's a lot to talk about in safety here, but with Champ being a representative for the team at SEC Media Days – that's got to say something for the role that he's going to play somewhere on safety, wherever.
Yeah, no, for hearing from him, especially, and our buddy Brooks, who I listened to his interview with Champ from SEC Media Days in Tampa, he sounds like he's ready. And I think he's lost a lot of time to be on the field to injury more than he would like. And I think he's ready to really put on a prove-it year for himself and for this defense and an Auburn team that's stuck with him. And obviously he's remained loyal to Auburn as well. But hearing from him, he's ready to go hit somebody and knock somebody out if he needs to, and he's ready to cover if he needs to. And so I think you've got a lot of leaders on the defense in general, but especially in this room, in this area where we're talking about safeties and nickelbacks. I think a lot of your leaders and a lot of your more vocal guys, which Alex Golesh has been very, very harping on lately, on being accountable and you speaking up and showing leadership through vocally, not just living it out. I think you see a lot of those guys here, and I think Champ Anthony is probably one of those who's at the forefront of that.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to start with him, because I think you exactly made the point I was trying to get across there too, about he's kind of encompassing, even if he doesn't start at a position, which I would think he probably got a good shot of it. He's a leader, de facto leader of that group right now. This is very similar to linebackers, Austin, where technically you have two safety positions, a nickel back as well. You got to find somewhere to put all this talent. Yeah. So right off the bat, you've got Caleb Harris, who's the incumbent, and Eric Winters, who's in Anquan Fagans. I'd throw him in the same group.
Yep.
A sophomore who had a great year with Eric Winters. Maybe that's where you start outside of Champ Anthony. That group right there. Caleb Harris, Eric Winters, and Anquan Fagans. How do you get them all on the field at the same time? I mean, we did talk about 3 types of safety-ish positions, but is it simple as that? You just throw them all out there?
It's a good problem to have. I'm glad it's not my decision. But I think Eric Winters and Anquan Fagans, especially now they're in their second year, their first full off season to get to bulk up, reload, and expound upon the knowledge they have of this DJ Durkin defense. I think both of those guys were guys going into last year that Auburn fans expected a lot out of because they're high rating and high praise from DJ Durkin. They backed it up and had great years. Now let's see how they take another step up. And I think retaining those 2 guys was obviously a big deal for the defense and for Auburn as a whole. And now they get a chance to have a prove-it year and not have that sophomore slump kind. And then, like you said, Caleb Harris is a junior. It feels like he's been here a long time. I don't know why I'm just about Caleb Harris, but it feels like we've been saying his name for a long time. That means he's had a lot of playing time. And so it's his turn to kind of also mimic that Champ Anthony style of being a leader out there and prove it on the defense as well. I think he had some time. I think he got picked on a little bit last year from a lot of fans and just a lot of it was a rough space to be in this backfield of the defense. And I think Caleb Harris kind of found himself as the scapegoat for a lot of it. So I'm sure it's a bounce back year for him. But like you said, tons of talent on the backfield of this defense that'll be really fun to watch.
Lastly, here in this group, again, other names: Wayne Henry, Fred Gaskin from USF, similar situation over there with a cornerback with 1 transfer in. Jacoby Matthews, can he break through as a guy who's been around in Texas A&M? You can't leave this group without talking about Sylvester Smith, just flying all over the field.
Which apparently has a new name.
Sylvester Smith Reed, excuse me. Yes, I got to get used to that, and I meant to
start
hard. Doing that. I think his numbers changed too, if I'm not mistaken. Did he change to 0, or was that what he had last year?
I think that's right. Yeah, I think he changed to 0.
Just changing everything. Even if that's not true, you can't talk about safeties, nickelbacks, whatever, without talking about now Sylvester Smith Reed. So here's the problem: you've got to find a way to get Sylvester, Champ, Anquan, Eric, probably Caleb Harris all in the field. It's a good problem to have. Kind of like why I wanted to compare this to linebackers. So much talent to utilize across this room. So in my view, Auburn fans should walk away from the safety group, nickelback, whatever, defensive backs in general, pretty good with what you've got to work with for 2026. So let's park it right there. I think we covered as much as we can on a late evening for Auburn Experience episode 184. We'll keep our list going of plenty of things in Auburn Potpourri to get back to on another time. And we thank you guys for letting us do the show a little bit later for the live viewers, but also for those of you who tune in on the regular audio podcast portion as well. As we leave, I want to remind you, you can keep in contact with me on the E2C Network social media accounts through the direct messages, or e2cnetwork@gmail.com is a great way to contact us. Where can they find you, Austin?
Yeah, at Austin G. Scott. I'll have to share out the Obby picks this week, and maybe some. Well, I think you're going to share some of the amphitheater night too. So we'll be on the lookout for both of those.
Yes, all kinds of stuff that we're sharing all the time, and as we get closer to actual sports on campus, which technically starts this week, we'll have even more content straight from the sources there as we try to give you the Auburn Experience, sports, culture, family in its fullest. As we go, I remind you the Auburn Creed asks you to do justice, love mercy, walk humbly with God. We're going to ask you to do the same thing. War Eagle.
War Eagle.